No, I get very like existential when I'm hungover because I think that usually happens.
Absolutely.
That's what they call it, anxiety, where you like the next day
That's
you're like
the realest thing.
I'm a stupid piece of shit.
Everyone
how do
hates
I
me.
deserve? Oh, I was out like a clown last night.
Yeah,
I was out like a clown, zippity zappy doodah, having fun, dancing like a fucking idiot.
Also, being a comic and being like an insane person, anyways.
Oh, I don't relate to that.
And then being like, okay, the alcohol made me even like more annoying, probably, and
And like manic.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's just too much. Anyways,
I feel like though, I mean, alcohol within reason, and I'm a very big proponent on. I'm very pro drug, which is controversial, but I like drugs and alcohol, and I feel like the only downside of it is when people use them and they're very bad at them. It's like when, for example, New Year's Eve is just amateur night. It's like people that
worst
are
night of the year.
Yeah, it's like agoraphobic people forcing themselves to party because they think like, well, I never go out, but I should do it. And then they end up being like social terrorists and being like, I don't want anything out. Fuck you. I'm like, this is, you shouldn't do this. I'm having fun. I'm like, you're a horrible person. This is horrible.
Yeah, I gave up New Year's Eve years ago. I just don't. I don't do it.
Smart.
It's the worst holiday.
It's the worst day.
It's the worst. It is the worst holiday.
Not the
because
worst day of the year, but like
it's the worst holiday because there is a precise moment, and when you are planning to like jettison yourself into like, okay, at midnight, okay, oh, it's 11:30. Okay, so that it's like, why are we counting time?
Yeah, I can't.
Y'all know that's not real, right?
You guys still believe in time?
Time is made up.
So I don't know. Halloween is the best because Halloween's a vibe.
I love Halloween.
I love Halloween.
Love it.
Because people
if I
get
have
creative.
a good,
It's the horniest holiday.
It's horny.
People want to fuck on Halloween.
people do want to fuck on Halloween.
Yes.
I one time in college went out as an old woman. Like it was fully like the wrinkle makeup and like a wig and a walker, and like I still fucked
smashed?
a guy that night.
Yeah,
and I
'cause-
was like, is that my soulmate? Like, my friends were like, if a guy fucks you tonight looking like that, you marry him. I didn't, but it happened.
And she's still not married.
And I'm still here, single.
It's the horniest holiday. It's so fun. Also, Halloween is like, it's supposed to be, it's very like occultist too, which I fucking love about it. It's supposed to be the celebration of like the bacchanal and like masquerade.
Like there is culture to it.
Yeah,
but we're
dude.
just like, I'm gonna get drunk and dress like a fucking slutty
I'm gonna
cat.
look like a slutty minion.
Yeah. Slutty whatever's popping
these
up.
overalls and goggles.
And just make noises the whole time. I forget what they make.
Oh yeah, they're like beep 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 beep.
Yeah.
Something like
honestly,
that.
okay, hot take. Minions are just the fucking aliens in Toy Story.
That's a genius take.
That's a genius take.
Although I've never seen any Despicable Me movies, so I can't really.
So my thing about the Minions is like they were. Here's
tell
my
to us
philosophy
straight.
on
Yeah,
the Minions.
spill.
So I think they were like hilarious in the movies. They did not need their own spin-off. Okay, like
They got a spinoff.
They got a spin-off. It's called like
Wow.
the Minions movie or something. And I'm like, okay, enough.
Anthropomorphic.
You've overstayed your welcome.
They also don't speak, so it's like, how interesting.
What is the plot? Yeah, I didn't see it.
They
but
should
I'm-
be a tertiary character only. That's like making a fucking movie about the aliens in Toy Story when they just
Yeah.
go like beep beep beep.
Exactly. They've overstayed their welcome in culture, and I'm ready to put that.
That movie was like a sign to the end of my childhood because it was like the first kids movie that came out that I was like,
Minions
I don't
or
get
Despicable Me?
it. Despicable Me. It
Okay.
was like 2010. I remember being like, seeing my little brother and like my little cousins get pumped about it. I'm like, oh, fuck, I'm
You're
like,
like,
I'm too
fucking
old for
over
this.
it, yeah.
I'm
You're like
too-
trying to hide your boner. You're like, man, we got different things on our
Yeah,
minds,
yeah, we
man.
have different things going
I
on.
want to fuck Gru, but I don't care for these minions at all.
Something about Gru's nose is turning me on.
Something about his just physique.
His physique altogether,
I love
yeah.
a man that's top heavy.
His shape.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Oh my god. Yeah, I mean, Liam, do you like drinking? But do you feel like you actually are good at it too? Because I think you just get. Well, I've seen
That's
you
a sick
fucked
thing
up.
to be good at.
Well, I've seen you really fucked up, and it's
I
like
don't like. I'm one of those dudes. I'm not gonna be like fuck like loud. I'm gonna go into a hole and I'm gonna be happy.
I think
you're
that's a good
happy.
thing.
Yeah.
I think that's a good thing.
But like when you get really fucked up, you're like just kind of like happy and like very like light in spirit, and I think that's really beautiful. I
There's
feel like
been some.
really
Yeah.
heinous. Oh yeah, you've like You've like destroyed things.
I mean, you can't be
From
good
Boston
all
and
the
not.
time, and you can't be from Boston and not be like a maniac, and you also can't have like a clean track record completely. No one's holding that against you.
It's not like, but like, there's dudes I know that have 3 sips of a fucking beer and then they lose all composure. I know like girls like that. And
because the way they metabolize alcohol is just not conducive to like them whatsoever. And we have made alcohol such a ubiquitous thing that it's like weird if you don't drink it.
Yeah.
Like I have a lot of sober friends and like the amount of like bizarre kind of bullying that they get of like, oh, you don't drink?
You're
why?
not gonna take a shot.
Why?
Like,
But why don't you drink?
So like, did you have a problem? Like bullshit like that. And it's like, I don't know. There's a lot of people that really shouldn't drink, but because we've made it like that's the weird thing about like weed. Like people be like, "Oh man, I can't smoke weed. It makes me like really like
freak out. It makes me bug out." Yeah.
So people are willing to like totally be like, "Nah, I don't touch this stuff." But alcohol, people could be like, "Oh
everyone like feels like they have to."
yeah, it's very normal. It's a social norm."
go ahead.
I just genuinely think like I saw a TikTok that was like, is alcohol the new cigarettes? Like, are we gonna I think eventually we're gonna look back and be like, whoa, like the way American teens were binge drinking. Like my whole life I've been binge drinking like since I was 14, 15. Like the first time I like went to a party and drank, it was just like that's what American culture is. I don't know about other countries. I don't think it's like that because they can drink when they have like wine at dinner.
Because
like I get fucked up every time I drink.
I don't get fucked up every time I drink because
not anymore, but like typically in college, like
but that's because you have to be opportunistic when you're underage drinking because you're like, okay, I got this one night, so you gotta like go all in.
We
so,
might
like,
never get it again.
Yeah, and like getting fucked up in a parking lot is like literally, it's like a symphony. You're like, this is the best night.
Yeah,
of my
I
life.
think that's changing. Hopefully, I think younger generations are like, let's not poison ourselves.
What scares me though,
they're going hard.
They are still.
What scares me more is that at least I feel like younger generations have an isolationism that we didn't really have because of social media. And that scares me because it's like, oh, that's really great that you could find your group and your people on platforms that you otherwise wouldn't know. And maybe you live in an environment that's like rural and you don't, you feel very alone. But the unfortunate thing about that is that then you just aloneness begots aloneness. And then I don't know, because I think drinking, at least when we were teens, like there was so much connecting.
Yeah, it's a social thing.
It's so social. And I think really the commodification of alcohol is the reason why it's so popular in America. And like look, like in Europe, it's not like that as much because it's not fucking fetishized as much. Like here,
it's not forbidden.
Yeah, like dude, my mom, like, she's like, oh my God, like everybody in Europe, and like my mom grew up in Iran, and she was like, yeah, you just like would drink if you want it. My mom, she's like, when I was like 9, my dad is like, do you want some beer? And she like drank some, and she's like, no, it doesn't taste good. And she's like, so I didn't really drink that much. And then I would have like maybe like a champagne or like a sugary drink when I was like 14 at like a nightclub or something. And I'm like, wow. And I think that's why my mom said, this is also mother ignorance, but she's like, alcoholism did not exist in Iran. Nobody is alcoholic. And I think it's because there's no like restriction. And I was like, that's smart. But also like my mom also thinks like drug addicts she like, thinks whatever she saw in her childhood is just like
the blunt reality.
Yes.
Like that's
the super objective of everything.
That's funny. Like you might have the same, both of you, but like you're at a family party and you crack a beer and then one of your aunts is like, careful, man. Holy fuck. Do you know what's going to happen to you soon? You're going to fall off a cliff. Like, you can't control that.
Are you the oldest in your family?
No, I have an older sister. I'm the middle.
Okay, middle child. I feel like that matters too. Like, my sister was like selling weed when she was in high school, and she's older than me. So my parents were kind of like, whatever, as long as you're not like selling drugs, we're fine with you.
If you're not committing felonies, then it's chill.
So that was really nice of her to do that, to sell drugs for me to sort of pave the way. But yeah, my family was never really like that because...
Like, remember Jimmy? Remember what happened to Jimmy?
Yeah. Yeah.
No? Exactly. He used to drink like that. Now he's gone. I'm like, okay.
I thought he died of diabetes. Well, there's a lot of sugar and alcohol people don't talk about.
Yeah.
I remember the excuses I came up with as a teenager for drinking. Like, I remember my mom found... She found alcohol, like a bottle of alcohol in like a boot of mine. Like I was like hiding it in my closet and it was in like a boot. And she found it and I was like, it's for a play. I'm in a play. And the character has to drink alcohol. Have you ever heard of Tennessee Williams?
You're like, the director of the play wanted me to bring it, like to fucking teacher at your
It's
school.
just a
like,
prop.
yeah, like,
Okay.
no.
Which is the most insane thing. And I think my mom looked at me like bewildered and just was like, okay. And then in my brain, I was like, crushed it. And then as an adult, I realized she just was like,
They knew.
I work 2 jobs and like, I don't really give a shit.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about this anymore. Who gives it? If you're going to
Yeah.
be so like intense about it, then
Like if you went like that out of your way to make up a lie like that, like good for you. I'm fucking tired. You
Yeah.
know? I'm tired.
I remember, I don't know what crazy lies you told, but I'll tell one more that I told that was like so insane and so funny. I got a hickey on my neck when I was 13. Okay, naughty.
That's a young, it's a young hickey.
I feel like that's when hickeys are given.
maybe, yeah.
That's like
teens.
imagine being a full adult having
Now
a hickey.
getting a hickey.
Well, I'd be like, what are you, a heroin addict?
Yeah, a vampire.
Yeah, when you just suck on people, you fucking weirdo. Like you gotta be like drooling on fucking opioids to like want to just suck someone's
Flesh,
neck to
yeah.
like make them bruise.
I didn't know what a hickey was until like junior high school.
Wait, where are you from? I know you're from
Norfolk.
Boston, but okay, where'd you go to school?
King
High
Philip.
Okay, I don't know anyone who went there, but I do know it. That's my connection to that.
Hickey.
Oh, hickey. Yeah.
So I get a hickey on my neck when I'm 13, and I'm like, fuck, I gotta hide this shit. And I'm like looking at it, I'm like doing the spoons in the freezer and like putting them on. None of that shit works. It's a bruise. It just has to heal. So I was really good about like wearing necklaces and like
A scarf.
Yes, a scarf and like turtlenecks. And then I remember I got out of the shower, took a shower, and I'm in a towel, and I just forgot. I just plumb forgot. And I'm talking to my mom, and she's like, "What's that on your neck?" And I was like, "What?" And I was like, "Oh fuck!" And so I just go, "I got hit in the neck with a football." It during PE, it actually came at me. It hit me right. That's why it's like
It's like
this.
they know. They're
And
not.
she's like, okay. And again, I was like, nailed that one.
Gotcha.
Wow, dude, I'm slick. I should be in the CIA. I'm so
Yeah.
good at this.
Yeah.
What's the lie you told as a teenager? That's like ridiculous.
Like I remember the first time I got drunk, I was in 8th grade, and I just wanted. It was when I was like trying weed and alcohol and shit like that. It was more of just I want to know what this is like, so that when I do it real time around people, I'm not a fucking psychopath.
that is really smart, and I
You have
think
good
that's a good
foresight.
idea. Yeah,
Well,
because then you
fucked
you'd
up
go
the
to
execution really badly.
Didn't-
I was at my grandparents' house in Jersey, and I was like, all right, today's the day. I'm getting fucked up. I went over to my grandpa's alcohol like cabinet in the garage, and there was a bottle of Absolute, and I was like, I don't know how much to drink, so I filled up a Poland Springs water bottle, biked down to the beach,
God.
and killed it at the beach.
by yourself.
You drank a bottle.
To,
How
like,
big of
test
a
it
bottle?
16 ounces of Poland Spring
Honey,
water
what?
bottle. I didn't know, and I remember
16 ounces of alcohol?
I guess how are you supposed to know if
I didn't
no
know.
one tells?
Dude,
yeah.
did you go to the hospital?
I should have.
Yes, you should have.
So I halfway through it, I was like, I feel like the king of the world.
Yeah.
And then I
As
finished
one
it,
does.
and I was so fucked up. Instead of just like throwing out the bottle, this is when I knew that like something was different. I buried it. And I remember walking away being like, why the fuck did I just bury it? And I walked over and I just threw it out. I was like, what was I doing? And then I get on my bike.
Were you high or just drunk? Because
Just
that's like a
drunk.
high thing for me, where I'd be like, let me bury the evidence.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
That's what that sounds like.
I was just fucked up. And then
Okay.
I was biking home. I just remember like seeing everything and it all shift, and I would just slam on the ground. But I wouldn't feel it. So I'd just be like, that was
Wait,
crazy.
you were falling and not
You were
feeling
on your
it?
bicycle.
Yeah, and I was like, whatever. And so I get back, I pull in. Half my body's like fucked up. from
Oh
it.
my God.
My little brother's outside. He's like, want to shoot hoops? I'm like, fucking yeah, I do. And so I'm just playing
bleeding.
basketball, fucked up, drunk. And he's like, what's going on?
Are you
dude?
bad at it?
Oh yeah, I'm like just.
Well, you're
throwing-
also like wasted.
yeah, I'm completely drunk. And then he's like, yeah, damn, you're having a good time. And I go into the garage and I'm like, I could use a little bit more. And he's like, and I'm staring at it, and my brother's like, you won't take a shot, pussy. And I'm like, oh, you think I won't?
Just drink
and
a Poland
If you
Spring
want a
water
man
bottle.
to do anything, call him a pussy, and
Yeah.
he will like all of a sudden you'll realize you're
He'll
like, wow,
just do
like
it.
he'll clean your house.
Yeah.
And then I walked inside, was like, okay. And by the way, it's like 5 p.m. And I'm like, I'm way too fucked
And you're
up.
at your grandparents' house. Hilarious.
Yeah, my whole family's there. And then I'm like, I got to go to fucking bed. Wake up at like 9 or 10.
Did anyone
choking on my
know?
own vomit. Nobody knew. Choking. like this, like grab, like I can feel like the edge
Like
of
the
the bed.
classic, what they warn you about.
Yeah.
Have
And
your
like-
Imagine if you fucking died Jimi Hendrix style the first time you fucking drank.
Baller.
alone on the beach, like 14 years
Do you
old.
ever have flashbacks where like you
Kinda
have like a bad,
awesome.
you bomb on stage, you're like, I should have died when I was 13.
I have
man."
dreams about that feeling because it was like such
No
a panic of like where
way.
I'm like, oh, I'm choking to death, but like luckily I like
I don't know if I've ever heard of anyone who like has that experience because you typically die.
Yes.
I
I feel
just,
like you survived
just
it.
got over.
So
Wow.
the sensation of the vomit woke, like the choking woke you up, and then that's what made you.
Yeah, and I just like got like enough of my, and then once I started puking, I was like could move again, but I was like so delirious when I woke up. I was like, what's happening? And then my grandma walks in.
And it like smells like booze because you're just like barfing. Yeah.
But she doesn't drink, so she's like, she didn't know any better. And so she just like puts me in the bathroom. I'm like, holy fuck. Like, I didn't know how bad
She's
it
like,
was.
he's got the stomach flu. Like,
she said.
no.
She said that. And then I remember like the next day, like I was just like black towel over my head for 48 hours. Like,
I can't believe you even could get a hangover at that age.
oh my God.
I mean, I think if you drink
I think I
that
had, like-
much,
yeah.
I think
I mean, you almost died. Let's be real.
I'm pretty
you had
sure
a near-death
that'll be a
experience.
hangover. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I had alcohol.
He's like, I saw
poisoning.
God.
Oh, if you vomit from alcohol, you have alcohol poisoning. So even
Oh,
if
I've had
like
alcohol poisoning all the time.
we've had alcohol poisoning.
Oh, I have it all every weekend then. Yeah. No, I'm kidding.
Why am I calling everyone honey?
Yeah.
Am I like what am
I'm
I, a fucking
so young.
pancake waitress? What the fuck is wrong with me?
But that was the lie. My mom was like, what happened to you? And I was like, I think I ate bad chocolate.
Chocolate.
I remember being
At
like-
least get something realistic like fish.
Like fish. Yeah.
I don't eat fish, so she went and bought it.
Do you think she knows?
Chicken. Bad
She-
chicken.
no,
Or do you think
doesn't
she
know.
knew?
No, because I was so innocent then. Like, this wasn't like he's
Oh my
fucked
God,
up.
you were
I was
probably
just
such a cute
That's so
little kid.
cute. That's such a cute little story. Like, I feel sometimes like I resonate more now with like the parents on these side of the stories. And now I'm like, oh my God, like, cause I have like a little nephew and I'm like imagining it being him. That's like how you know you're old when like I start thinking about it from the parents' side. But that's so funny. That's such a good.
Okay, what about you? Tell us what's the worst lie? lie you were told?
I never like had like really bad lies, but my sister and I would go, we would go smoke weed in her car. She would drive us around. We'd do like the cruise route is what we called it. It was this certain route we would drive and we would get fucking high as shit. And then
What would you listen to?
this was back when like Lil Wayne was really,
Oh my
really
God,
big.
I love
Like
that.
two fucking girls in Wellesley like driving around.
Yeah, two, like,
stoned,
white girls,
smoking
like,
a blunt. Like my sister would roll us a blunt. We'd be like, "Hey dad, we're going to go get ice cream. Do you want anything?" And like we knew he was going to say no. We're like, "We're going to go get ice cream." We roll a blunt. We're driving around Wellesley smoking, listening to Lil Wayne. Like who the fuck are we?
Did you go to Wellesley High?
Yeah. So public school. So I'm like, whatever.
Wellesley sounds fancy. It just
It
sounds
is.
like
It's
you know what? It sounds like something you have to say in a transatlantic accent. Be like, she's one of them Wellesley girls.
yeah, that's exactly what it is.
You know, like she's
So-
a hoppy.
Yeah, that's me. So we would get so high. Like I just smoked a lot of weed in my like high school and college, and we would come home. Probably reeked of weed. There's no way. My dad would be like watching TV in the living room, and I straight up would eat a pound of American cheese. Like it would be like, oh, I'm just like hungry, eating so much. I look back now and I'm like, he obviously knew. Like nobody.
They just don't want to. They don't want to fucking.
They don't wanna
think
deal
about
with it.
I would do the same thing because you can't burden yourself. It's like when you're in a relationship and like you'll have little gripes and you have to kind of decide like, all right, which one am I gonna like have to talk about with this person?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like when you have kids, you have to be like, I'm gonna just. Let
My
this
dad
one
was like,
slide.
I'm watching Lost. Like I'm not.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I don't want to deal with it right now. They're
And it's-
home safe. Like
And it's not a big deal. Like I think that's what's nice about having like realistic parents is that
Yeah.
like they're like, yeah, you're not like slamming heroin.
I did have really realistic, good parent. I mean, they're still alive. I do have really good parents, but they were pretty good about that. And they were just like, we just don't want you to die.
Yeah, my mom was like, marijuana is the same as heroin, okay? So if you do it's a gateway drug. That's why they call it that. And my mom's
What a terrifying thing to
I
be
know.
told.
My mom and I was like, dude, I remember Dare when we had to do that shit,
Yeah.
and I think it was in 6th grade we had to do it. And they make you. This is so manipulative. They make you sign a contract when you're fucking 11
Yeah.
years old that says, literally a police officer comes once a week to be like, let's talk about drugs or whatever. And I remember our police officer was just like the most, like, if you drew a cartoon of a lesbian, it was this woman. Like, it was like a caricature
We had that too.
of a lesbian named Angela.
Yep.
And she had like very broad shoulders and like a very aggressive ponytail and just like a bulldog.
We
of a
had
woman.
Officer Janice, and she died, but she
Wait,
was
during your class?
no,
Not like in class.
that
but I
would
mean,
be
like,
an iconic way to go.
did she
No,
get shot.
I don't know actually, but I just know she was. If you drew a lesbian, that was
Yeah, you're
Officer
like,
Janice. Yeah,
yeah. It's like it's like almost when you see somebody and you're like, can you be a little less cliche about yourself? You know,
be a little more mysterious.
yeah. Like, wow, you're like really on the nose.
You're not
It's
leaving-
like-
exactly,
you're,
exactly.
like, really on the nose.
I never did dare.
I don't think I did either.
I think that they phased it out because DARE was a program that was a part of the War on Drugs program that Nancy Reagan and Ronald Reagan instituted in the 80s. So DARE came around in the 80s, which was just like the Just Say No to Drugs, which like it's like the view of like sex education with abstinence, where it's like you can't just tell kids not to fuck, they're gonna fuck. You can't just tell kids not to do drugs. What you can do
And
is
it's like try to scare them out of it.
it's not gonna happen. Instead, like create realistic, hey, if somebody is overdosing, there's Narcan.
Yeah.
This is where you can buy Narcan. These are the signs to look out for if your friend is on ecstasy and they like need to go to the hospital. Be realistic. Don't just be
Right.
like, we're not gonna teach you anything about it, so you can't do it. And
That's
like,
how kids end up getting in trouble, like
die.
in danger. Yeah.
So anyway, they make you sign a fucking contract. So yeah, I don't think that DARE exists anymore, as it shouldn't. Because
Signing
it's ridiculous.
also just like the idea of signing a contract when you're 11 years old is
Why are you
fucking hilarious.
implicating a child
you
into paperwork
kidding me?
right now?
Yeah.
Are you fucking serious?
Are you kidding me?
You know what I just remembered? Did you guys have this? Holy fuck. They would reenact and act out, like they'd get the theater fucking kids and student council kids to do a drunk driving accident where they would have two crash cars in the front of school. They'd be like screaming, "My brother's there!" Oh, shit.
Yes.
And I remember in high school,
brother.
I remember being in high school, like seeing this god fucking awful performance from like 3 kids with autism and being like, what? Like, and just laughing. And then a teacher being like, this is serious. I'm like, no, it's not. I have family members that have died in DUI related incidents.
isn't the
And
way
this is
to-
dumb. This is literally
This isn't the
dumb.
way to teach
What
it,
are you
yeah.
doing? Like, this is so
No, they
absurd.
made us watch, like, I don't think we had live action theater. They made us watch, like, I swear to God, it was like a drunk driving video from like 1959. And I'm like, okay, guys, I don't want to watch a video where at the time this country was like, black people can't eat sandwiches next
Yeah,
to
like
white
I don't want to watch a video from when we couldn't share water fountains. I'm like, I'm like,
and
let's
they're like,
update
this
it.
is educational.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? But no, they literally would show us like faces of death videos. I swear to God, like it might as well like been like Norwegian death metal music playing in the background of like gore, and they'd be like this, like because they would show us police footage of the like post car accident, post drunk driving accident. So they'd be like, there'd be an arm somewhere, and I'm like,
my God.
what the fuck? And I'm like 14, and I'm like, oh, am I like a fucking Iraq vet now and I have PTSD? What the fuck is this? But
It's a lot.
Back to this fucking contract. So on the contract from DARE, it says, I will not ever do drugs and alcohol. And you have to sign it and shit. And I remember as an 11-year-old with
Legally
the clarity
binding.
of mind being like, I mean, I haven't done drugs or drank yet. I'm 11, you know, but being like, I'm down for sure drink and do drugs.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is a non-binding contract. This will not hold up in court. Okay. I just can't believe the it's so, I don't know, but I was very
So stupid.
I was such a stoner too.
Yeah, I really
Do you
was.
still smoke weed?
Yeah, I do. I
Ditto.
love it. I don't think I'll ever stop.
Let's go, sis.
That's
I
tight.
love it.
Weed is tight.
Yeah, weed is tight. I started smoking like really young because my sister was such a pothead.
Yeah, me too.
So I was introduced to it in a way that was like really like safe environment. Like it's kind of the same way you tried to like
Yeah.
not the execution was
made it so dangerous.
was not good, but I feel like I had
Scientist.
you had the foresight though. Like I started smoking weed with my sister, and it was in this way that she like taught me how to use a bowl, where like most kids just like get past a bowl at a party and they're like, bleh, like they don't know what they're doing.
The
They're
bong
like,
water.
"Eh,"
This is
like,
how you do it.
yeah, like just panic. So I like feel like I always had like a healthy relationship with weed, if that makes sense.
Yes,
unhealthy relationships with weed are just like they resort to people doing dabs, which we've talked about on the show a few times because it is the heroin.
I don't think
of weed.
I've ever done that.
Don't ever do it unless you want to have a 48-hour
I'm just
panic
like,
attack.
why would I? Yeah.
Unless you literally feel like you're like in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Like
Yeah, I want that.
the intrusive thoughts like become like fucking like specters in my like
yeah, like
brain.
I want to. I'm
"Ah."
trying to laugh. I don't want to go into a psychotic break. You know, like
Yeah.
that's the difference
Yeah.
for me. I'm not trying to like leave my body.
No.
What would your parents tell you? Like, because my mom would be like, "Don't drink, don't
With a
do
gun.
anything.
She has a gun in her hand.
Don't drink, don't do fucking anything." My dad would just be like, "Light beer, weed."
That's
He's like-
good advice.
That's realistic.
And I was like, "Okay." He's like, "If you fuck with anything else, it's gonna fuck you up, and you're gonna do something, and you're gonna embarrass yourself." And I was like, "All right, I'll just stick to that." And I was
See,
like,
what a
And
good
then-
father. That's
yeah.
like so good. My dad he wasn't really around too much, so he actually was good because he had the peace of mind to not really like parent me. Like he wasn't like he wasn't very involved, but he also wasn't like and do this because I would have been like, how dare you, fuck you.
Yeah,
like, you know,
don't tell me what to do.
yeah, and he never did, and I think I really appreciate that, and I love him very much. So you know, he doesn't listen to this.
Shout out to your
Yeah, hey, shout out Brad.
"Brad."
Brad, such
Okay,
a dad
hot
name.
name. That's kind of a hot name.
I fucked a guy named Brad before, and I was
I
like,
have too.
but I was like, oh, I can never date this guy because I'm not going to date a guy named after my dad.
Named after your dad.
Yeah, like he was named after. Yeah,
Yeah.
well, it was my cousin. No, just
his
kidding.
namesake. Yeah, it was my brother.
Yeah, it was my brother, Brad Jr.
Is Tar is his last name, right?
Yes,
Okay.
but he's adopted.
Right.
So I have like really no connection
Yeah.
to it. But it's a great stage name, I'd
It is.
say. Okay. What's your type of guy?
Like goofy, pale, tall, lanky, like
Basically like somebody who's like Liam but not Liam.
yeah. You but not you.
I don't think you're goofy. You're very funny, but you're not
No,
a
you. I
goofy
think
guy.
you are. I don't mean goofy like in a. I don't know. I mean like, yeah.
Yeah, because I
don't know.
think goofy, I don't think fuckable and goofy, like, that's not like, those are not like adjacent.
goofy was kind of a bad word to choose. I kind of mean like funny. Like I
Just a
just mean
funny
really
guy.
funny,
Of
but in a
course.
way that's not like annoying.
Ugh.
Like I dated a guy once who was like always competing with me to be funnier, and I was like, it's to me, it's
You're gonna
not a
fail.
competition. Like
Yeah.
I was never competing with him, and he was always competing with me and trying to be like louder than me. Like I don't fuck with that.
Is he a comedian?
No.
That
This
makes
was
it
in
even
college,
worse.
so I wasn't even a comedian yet. I was just like
Where'd you go again?
BC, Boston
Oh,
College.
cool.
So I was in Boston forever. Had to leave there, but physically like pale, tall, lanky.
That's such a great why.
I love
pale?
that you're like
Isn't that
slender.
insane?
You're like slender
I'm
man
like-
with a but
I'm like sickly.
type.
I want him in the hospital. I
well,
want
no, but I know
baby
why.
face. My friends
know
make fun
why.
of me because I like a baby face, and like
That's cute.
Yeah,
But I
it's
know
cute.
why the tall, lengthy,
Why?
skinny guys with the pale, they always have big dicks. Tall,
Yeah?
tall, like lanky guys, they always
You'd
like.
be surprised.
You're not that tall and
You'd-
lanky.
I'm tall.
You are tall, but you are proportioned. I wouldn't call you like you're not like a thin, pale like.
Yeah, true.
You don't look sick.
I don't
Yeah.
think
You got
it's,
pink
I
in
don't
your
like
skin.
sickly though, but I do like.
On the
I
verge
love
of
a like.
cholera.
I don't like a big masculine like. I don't like a big masculine muscular man with like a big beard. It's just not hot to me. It's scary. That scares
like
me.
a-
That's very
Like
interesting.
a pedophile.
Yeah, I'm like what they. Yeah, I'm like a pedophile.
yeah. You're like like a baby's face, like an
Like-
infant's.
Like anyone that's like under
Jawline.
13, I love.
I want
That's-
like the fastest kid in 8th grade.
Yeah.
Whoever runs like a sub 6 mile, just
Yeah.
like come see me in my classroom after.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
who's ever on their improv team in middle school?
the leader of the debate club.
Honestly, you answered so specifically, and I feel like people usually
Because
don't.
people
then.
ask me that a lot, and
do they try to set you up with people?
I've never been set up with anyone, but I think going on podcasts and like being a comedian and stuff, people always ask you like, "What's your type? What's your type?" So I've like thought about it a lot, and also my friends make fun of me because everyone I date kind of like looks the same.
They have like a profile.
They like, yeah, I could like draw whoever right now, and like.
You have a sketch, like a criminologist.
Yeah,
sketch
exactly.
of them.
Let's get one in here and
So you've
we'll
had the
sketch it
same.
out.
See, I've dated so many different looking people. I like different dudes that like such a variety of like
like
Yeah.
race and ethnicity and like height and
Yeah.
like color of hair and like beard, no beard, mustache, like even like type of guy. Like this guy's kind of like a fucking like a
Yeah.
vinyl guy, and like this guy's like a film guy. This guy's like a fucking emotionally unavailable painter.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's good. I think the reason, I don't know, it's maybe because I grew up in an environment that was so not diverse that like the formative years of me like being like such a horny teen was around like all of these just like white men.
It's homogenized cultures, I think, kind of make you, it makes you look at like, but you see the nuances within that homogenization, because I think that like I could look at it and be like, well, all these people are the same, but it's like you're like, no, they're not. I can see the differential in like these subtle ways.
Totally. But I do think that like maybe has something to do with it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What's the worst date you've ever been on?
I went on a really terrible date before COVID. So this was like a while ago. He like
How'd you meet
catfished
him?
me
Online?
first of all.
Okay,
Hinge.
online.
Yeah.
Hinge, there we go.
So he like kind of catfished me. He was like definitely had like not, these aren't things that I care about, but it's like just be upfront about it. Like he had gray hair. Be upfront about that.
How old is he?
Like my age at the time, so probably like 27.
See, I think that's hot.
No,
I think if you're that age and if you're young and you have gray hair, that is like Richard Gere.
But also like you should just know that going into it, right? Like
so his photos
were like old. So whatever. I was able to move past that. I was like, okay, whatever. He made me look at pictures of his sister and showed me how hot she was. He's like, look how hot she is.
What?
Yeah.
Wait,
Yes.
he said that?
Yeah. He goes, my sister's like really hot. Look at her. And I was like, okay. I don't know.
Okay, first of all, how did she look like?
I don't even remember. I blacked it out.
Because I was like, if your
What
sister
the
doesn't
fuck?
look like
Literally.
me and you're calling her hot, mister, you're in trouble.
I'm like, wait,
She better look
I want to
exactly
be your
like me.
sister. Yeah. No, so that was creepy. It was like all these little things he kept doing that added up to just be the most like insane date. Like I wrote it out in a list after because my roommate was like, you need to write all this down because it's crazy. He like made me look at his gums to show me how fucked up they were from dipping.
Ew!
And I was
Bro,
like,
why would you brag about that?
yeah, I was like,
Ew!
He's like, yeah, they're really fucked up. Look, like, made me look at his gums.
Was he attractive?
No. I mean, it's one of those things where if he had a really good I'm such a personality person
Of course.
too. That
You're a
like,
woman.
That's
Yeah.
everything to me is personality really, besides everything I listed before. The very specific things I listed. But
He fit
what
the
else?
physical profile.
Yeah, not even really. He was kind of like shorter and not that cute, but whatever.
No baby face.
Not baby face enough. He
take
was
your shot
of
in the dark.
age, so I wasn't into it. I'm just kidding. What else did he do? He wanted to like leave without paying.
What?
He got mad at me when I wanted to pay.
Wait.
I know, it's absurd.
He wanted to dine and dash?
Yeah.
Where'd you guys
First
go?
date?
He said, quote, our waitress is a fucking retard. Let's just leave. Like literally blasted out the R word on a first date. Like,
First of all, I will say retard to the day I die. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time giving it up.
I would
but-
never refer to a mentally challenged person as retarded
Okay,
in
but
my
on
life.
a first date,
But I like
to
saying
say
the word.
our waitress is a retard. Let's go without paying.
He kind of won me over with that one.
Yeah,
That's so
you're into
fucking
it?
insane.
Yeah, I know.
I'd be like, oh my
It's like I'm back in because
Yeah.
I'm like I want to. I feel like
Yeah,
I
it's
really
so
feel
true.
like Jane Goodall, where I'm like I need to study you.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
you
yeah.
are a fascinating
Well, that's why
creature.
I stayed because I got to a point where I was
Because you're
like,
a comedian and you're like, this is
not.
great material.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I could tell from the first couple things, I was like, this is not gonna work out. And then it got so ridiculous that I was like, this is kind of actually fucking awesome.
Yes.
Now I'm just sitting here with this person
This
who's
psychopath.
the most insane person I've ever met in my life, and I'm just like writing a joke about him in my head. Like I'm just like, this is gonna
He's
be
your muse.
my big break.
That's
yeah.
the beauty. That's the hilarious thing about female comics is that like shitty men are our muses. Like
Yeah.
they are our Mona Lisas.
I do think guys are scared to date female comics because they're afraid they're gonna like end up in a joke. But I'm like, just don't be a piece of shit, and you won't.
Do you
end up
know
in a
why I
joke.
think men are afraid of female comedians?
because they're afraid we're going to make fun of their tiny dicks. They literally think it's so Freudian. I really think they're like, she might make fun of my penis. Like, it's
Do you really think men are like afraid of female comics?
I do.
Yes.
I think
they are.
That
the amount of mean things that have been said to me, and I think it's, and not based upon anything but the fact that I'm cracking a joke, like, is insane. Like the online kind of bullying that has happened.
Online, yeah.
Where it's like, you're just kind of like, oh, and they're like, you're one to talk. Like, I'll literally be doing a bit.
Yeah.
And it's like on our fucking show or like on, you know, and I'm like, yeah, I'm joking around. And it's like not even hateful shit.
Yeah.
I'm not even, you know, I'm not like fuck man, whatever. And they're like, you're one to talk. And I'm like, oh, you just feel like any scrutiny or any sort of like, any just like I'm being silly from a woman is like so threatening. It becomes like militarized in this like fucked up way. I don't fucking know, man.
Yeah, there's a difference between like people online who comment on your shit being like women aren't funny. It's like whatever. I'm not like dealing with those people in my real life. But I think when it comes to guys like with dating, I think that like guys think it's really cool and they respect you. Like they think it's, my guy friends all think it's really cool but when it comes to dating, I think a lot of men like don't want somebody who can command the attention of an entire room, can make an entire room of people laugh, is confident. Like
it's like slutty.
It's
like you have so much attention that's like garnered around you.
Just it's powerful. It's powerful to be so confident, to get in front of hundreds of people and make them laugh. And a guy is like, that's emasculating to a lot of men who are pussies, kind of.
Well, because you're being a leader, and that's a
and
very.
They want to be the. They're
exactly.
like, but I want to be the one who like. I just think it's threatening to men, and I do think that it like has affected my dating life and like my options, because I think immediately a lot of guys are like, I'm not getting involved in that. Like that's.
I could see the light leave men's eyes when I was single. I could see like, because I would know guys would just want to fuck me. But then when they like, I'm like, oh, like if they know I'm a comedian, like they're gonna even like me more. And then it actually like hindered.
I know.
They
Crazy.
were like, they would almost guarantee that they were just gonna fuck me, and then they were probably like not gonna hit me back up again.
I think it's so cool to be a comedian. That's the coolest thing you can do. Is like why would you not want to date?
And on the obverse though, can I say the guys that are like really creepy that are like, I love female comedians. Do you know what I'm
worse,
even. That's what I mean. Like, that's so worse. Where they're like very like funny lady, and they're always guys that are like just they're so unfunny. Like they don't try to be, which is like thank God. But it's just like I feel like a literal court jester. Where I'm just like, they're like, oh yeah, female comedian's so hot. I'm like,
or like, I've gone on dates with guys who are like, yeah, so I'm trying to start a podcast, and I'm like, I am done. Like, I'm not here to like tell you how to start a podcast.
Hearing you talk is already just so hard, and then it's like they're like, I think everyone should. I'm like, I'm literally only listening to you talk because I hope you fuck me. Yeah, and then they're like, yeah, like I'm pretty sure like I should talk professionally. I'm like,
I just like I don't know. I think I've gone back and forth between being like on my dating app profiles. Not that I'm really using them right now, but do I hide the fact that I'm a comedian, or do I put a picture of me doing stand up? Or tell them right away, because I think I don't know. I think it's really intimidating for men, but the right person, it's just taking me longer because the right person won't be intimidated by that. The right person will be like, that's awesome. I'm your biggest fan, you know?
Yeah. Well,
and that to me, that's big dick energy. That's the hottest thing a man can do, is be like, that's my girlfriend crushing on stage.
Because when a guy could see a woman in her power and be like turned on by that, that's also
and
a
not
healthy.
Well,
it's a healthy relationship too, because it's somebody being like, you are your best. When you are your best, that's when I'm the most attracted to you.
Yeah,
and that's what you want in a relationship. You want when it's like that reciprocal thing of like the reciprocity of like love is just having like, hey, I want you to like thrive, and you want me to thrive, and so we're gonna like create mechanisms in which both of us can like thrive and support each other, and that's like, you know, it's beautiful, it's fucking great. But
it's just
I can't
longer, I think, for me.
Well, hey, you know, you're young, so like I just feel like also like late 20s is such a fucking chaotic period. Like that is the most chaotic, I think, because you are leaving. You are like, it's like that Britney Spears song,
I am not a girl.
Yeah.
What is it?
I'm not a girl, not yet a woman.
Yes.
That's very true.
She's doing great, so
Yeah. So let's take that advice.
She hasn't lit anything on fire again, so I think this year.
fucking
so.
burned her gym down.
Yeah, it was
like,
so funny, dude.
hilarious.
she's getting naked on Instagram.
Her dancing videos are just
beyond.
I love it, dude.
Spooky.
It's literally bone chilling.
They are. Yeah, they
It's
are.
like, I get like,
Like
a,
whoever's behind the camera is just like has their eyes just like sewn all the way up. Just, like,
yes.
so no
crying.
Why? It's like crazy that a dancing video can have an energy of like a
God.
hostage beheading video. Like, I'm like,
it's ISIS fucking bad.
Yeah,
it
yeah.
feels like somebody's gonna read off a piece of paper
like-
about how they miss their family.
Yeah.
it's like hashtag ISIS partner at the bottom.
Yeah, oh my god. And this year I'm sponsored by ISIS.
Yeah,
I'm partnering
so
with ISIS.
crazy.
But I have also, just out of my own sick curiosity, more questions about this date. If there's any other additions of badness, because
Yeah.
I feel like we didn't
we didn't get there yet. So I actually have it on my phone somewhere. Do you care if I just take a second to find it?
Please do.
Oh my god.
I just love that.
Fuck retarded.
I just can't,
I was like,
literally a guy suggesting let's dine and dash. Can I ask where you guys went?
yeah, it was a place in East Village that's not open anymore. It was just like kind of a divey bar.
Oh, it was a bar too, not even a restaurant.
No, it wasn't even a restaurant. It was a wine bar.
And he wanted to bounce.
Oh, this is another one that's like kind of just funny. I whatever, you're on a date, you're kind of like your social skills are off because you're like a little nervous. We got our second drink and I was like, oh, cheers. And he goes, you don't have to cheers before every drink. And I was like,
What a rude piece of shit.
So now
whenever
whenever I instigate a cheers now, I'm like, oh fuck, like everyone's gonna make fun
Oh my
of
god,
me.
he's giving you like a complex. Fuck this guy.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's now I can't even initiate. I'm like, I'll just wait for someone else to say
I'll
cheers.
cheers in the middle of a goddamn drink.
I like don't care. Yeah, why is that? Who says that? You don't have to
this guy.
cheers.
That's
before
also not the weirdest thing about him.
No, not at all. But I just thought that was a funny detail where it's like, wait, what? Why would you say that to me?
Did you? By the way, did he try to make a move on you?
Well, he like totally misread the situation and like thought we were having fun. I don't know.
I mean,
Dude, this guy rules.
you know what? You know
You,
what
like,
though?
love it. You want me to get? I'll send
Do you know
his
why? Because
Instagram.
probably he's not used to dating a female comedian. You're there for like fodder. You're like, okay, like this is material.
This was like
So
I
he-
almost took out a clipboard.
Yes,
Like,
I'm just saying, like you were there. You probably lasted longer than any woman. So he was like, "This is in the bag. I'm crushing right
probably.
now." That's probably why. Did he try to lean in and like kiss you
oh God. Okay.
with his fucking?
Oh, he
dip
made me
mouth?
guess. Okay, he made me guess his high school GPA, which it's like. I don't give a fuck about
What?
your high school GPA, and it was a 2.1. So I was like,
That's so
okay.
funny.
Yeah, he was being like, I'm so. He basically his whole like shtick was like, I'm.
Who's the
so
retarded waitress
dumb.
now, dude?
Yeah. His whole thing was like, I'm so dumb. Oh, he had a big I didn't see it, but he told me he had a big tattoo on his thigh that said West Virginia, which is just the biggest red flag I've ever heard.
A thigh tattoo, and then also
This guy loves incest.
West Virginia is like one of the most like despicable. We're gonna get some
Yeah,
hate.
like ugh.
It's a despicable state.
Why? Never been.
Sorry.
Virginia's fine. West
Virginia, I've heard, is like just incest and
It's the Appalachians, so it's like a lot of meth, a lot of guns, a lot of like it's a lot of incest, a lot of like very few teeth in mouths.
yeah.
Should be the fucking capital. That sounds
There's
awesome.
a great documentary called The
I've heard of it,
Wonderful
that
Whites of
family.
West Virginia. It's
I
you
can't
gotta
bring
watch
myself-
it.
I can't bring-
Fantastic.
dude,
Okay,
it's
you
gonna
brought
fuck
it.
me up.
Let's
Yeah, I
let's
have
hear
it.
it, please.
Okay. Just like telling me how stupid he was, talked about how sick the coke is in Miami, pulled up his sister's Instagram to show me how good looking she is. I wrote Def fucks his sister. Tried to leave without paying, got mad when I didn't want to leave without paying. Tattoo. Okay, he pointed out my fidgeting constantly. He goes, "Can you go 1 minute without fidgeting?" And I was like, I guess I like play with my rings or like my earrings.
I do the exact same
when
thing.
I'm talking, it's not even nerves. It's just
Also, of course, he was making you nervous because he was being
I was afraid
the
of him.
worst
Yeah.
person.
Oh, he made me look up how he should get home. Like, okay.
Wait, did he not have a phone?
No,
He
he
strikes
did.
me as an Android user. Did he, were his text green?
No, surprisingly.
Shocking.
He said,
They let people
quote,
like that have iPhones.
Classist.
how bad would you feel if you told someone to kill themselves and they did? I was like, I'd feel pretty bad.
Is that like a is he
Like-
playing like a would you rather? Okay,
I
would
don't
you
know.
rather tell someone kill themselves so they die, or they tell you to kill yourself and then you die.
He said, how bad would you feel? I'd feel pretty bad. Like, I don't know. And then he explained to me what a Dalmatian is, as if I didn't know. So
wait, what, how do you? Maybe I don't know what a Dalmatian is.
No.
Can you tell me? I feel like I'm being I'm gaslighting myself. I'm like, maybe I don't know.
Maybe I don't know. Someone had to explain it. Maybe I don't know. No, he literally told me it was the fire truck dog. I was like, did I show confusion when you said Dalmatian?
Yeah.
Like,
did I say, oh, Gesundheit?
Did I say? Can you go back to that? I'm confused.
What is that?
He goes, we used to have a Dalmatian. You know, it's like the fire truck dog. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? So that was like the extent of everything. It was just all over, like the worst date I've ever been on. Nothing like terrible happened. But
Can I get in his corner for a second?
Yeah, you are. I know you are.
I think that this guy was like a real weird piece of shit probably, but I do think he was very nervous. I think his defense was kind of when he gets nervous around his friends, which is like just weirdly like, stop doing that. Like, like let's get like doing weird shit. That sounds like someone who's getting made fun of in a group of guys and is kind of like, that sounds like a guy that's around guys and he's kind of like lower on the social.
butt of the jokes, kind of.
Yeah. That's
wow. Yeah, lower in the pecking order of the friends.
Because I've hung around dudes that do weird shit like that, but it's just because everyone's like, shut the fuck up, Tim. Nobody likes you. It'd be fun if you left without paying. And everyone's like, that's not cool. And he's like, I wasn't going to do that. I was kidding. He's just like reaching at anything to fucking someone's going to like, I'm going to do something someone's going to like. That's what it felt like.
So funny. I literally know guys who are the butt of every joke, and it is very much like that. Like, let's leave without paying. What? Like, what are you talking about?
Oh, I was just fucking around. I was seeing if you guys were stupid like that.
Yeah,
I'm not stupid.
I was testing you guys.
Yeah, you guys are good now.
And then everyone's talking for 3 minutes and nobody's looked at him or involved him. He's like, have you ever heard of a Dalmatian? It's like the fire. You go to a firehouse, they have a Dalmatian.
Yeah, he's like, that's like always the worst person in any friends group, because like you can have like this fun momentum with your friends and then you just have this like this person who's just like, I'm gonna make sure I ruin this like collaborative fun experience you're having by taking just like a total, like they'll be talking about a movie and I'll be like, hey, do you guys like, this like type of childhood cancer that only occurs in actually like sickle cell patients? We're like, what?
Yeah, dude, I think I can be that person sometimes. Like, I think sometimes I'm usually like pretty good, but sometimes I'll find myself, especially with other comics in social situations where I'm just like, I just feel like I overthink things, and I feel like I can be that person sometimes where I'm like, do you guys know about that unique cancer? Everyone's like, wait, what? Like, we're talking about our set. Like, what are you talking? What the fuck?
And you're like, yeah, me too.
Yeah, like I feel like I can get into like a really typically I'm fine, like I can talk to anybody, but I feel like occasionally I can go into a place where I'm just like, this is not my best work socially, and like I should just go, like.
Yeah, but you have the awareness.
Yeah.
Of
absolutely. Oh, absolutely.
You're a comedian, so you also have the awareness of like you have awareness on stage, obviously, and then that just translates into like real social life. Yeah. And then you're like, oh, that didn't go. This person doesn't like me. I'll
be in the Uber home and I'm like, not my best work.
Oh, I can tell when you bomb at the hang, that's the worst.
Yeah.
At the post-show hang, I think I can tell pretty immediately when somebody likes me or doesn't like me. Yeah. And then when they don't like me, I just get so like, oh, fucking... maybe I'll say something that will win them back over, and then I'm just like, it
gets weird, yeah.
Yeah, it's like weird yearning, and they're kind of like, I'm actually good on you, and I'm like, yeah, for sure, me too.
For sure,
yeah, dude. Me too.
This happens a lot with like dudes at like open mics or shows or whatever, where it's like, especially when I got to LA and I didn't know any of the other comics.
How long have you been in LA?
Like a year and a half.
Okay.
And like I would walk out, like people smoking cigarettes after the show, whatever, and I'd know like one dude in the group, it'd be like 5 dudes. And the guy that's like the most insecure would always start just like pointing at me and saying things to me. And I would just be like,
what?
Like there was like this one dude that would do it specifically. And I remember just being like,
what like saying what?
Like he'd be like make a joke about like fucking the way I look, like comment, just like in passing, be like, you're gay, like something dumb.
Yeah,
or it's like,
you're gay.
It's joking enough to where it's like, I'm not going to get like,
pissed.
Not even pissed, but it's not going to ruin the setting. So it's just going over everyone's head, but I'm like, I know what you're doing.
Yeah.
And I'll just go like, why are you being mean to me? And I'll just do that, and they'd never. I'll go, why are you being mean to me in front of my friend?
The dynamics
and it's so fucking
among men is so complex and so psychotic and confusing. Like you're saying, like there's probably so much shit that goes on when it's just guys
But
that like we
girls-
don't think about.
Not female comedians. I don't think, because I think there's so much of a camaraderie because we're minorities in this scene.
Yeah.
But I think like some girls like that have toxic like relationships and friendships and just like, I mean, you see it on these like stupid housewives fucking shows, but it's like, I think that there is some complexity in that world too.
Mm-hmm.
Like we have not, like I don't have any friends that would ever like make me feel that way, or like I'm not around people that make me feel like that, because that would be insane
Or like
to immerse
girls
yourself
will just
in.
talk about it, and guys will just be like, "You're gay." Like
Dudes is more
Yeah.
like in face. Girls just like a girl walk away and then they're like, oh, she said that one thing.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
What if it's a guy? It'd be like, why did you just fucking say
Well,
that?
I just love
Wait,
that.
so what was his reaction?
He was like, what? Like, and then the one thing you have to do
You just like
as a guy-
disarmed him. Kind
Yes,
if
exactly.
you can't get phased in any social, in high school, in fucking college. If you're in a group of guys and someone says anything to you that's like, you're this, you're that, and if you get fucking stunned or phased, you just have to go, cool. Like,
This is like
I am.
survival tips for
Do not
men.
get phased.
Yeah, this
That's what I-
is.
For like young straight potentially,
or
mostly.
no, dude. If
I guess it
I
could
think
be anyone.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking of like straight man culture in high school being like fucking like
But no, being like cool as a cucumber, like letting shit slide off
Yeah.
of your back. But I love what
is
you
the
did
best.
of like, why are you being mean to me?
Why are
Because
you
this
mean
is
to
what I do if somebody says something that's like passive aggressive. Because like some people will say something that's like kind of rude or a little cutting. And if they say something rude to me, I'll just go, I'm confused. Could you explain what that means? And they will look at you disarm
Yeah.
them like that. Because
Yeah.
they're like, they'll say something like, like something snooty. And you're like, oh, I'm just confused.
you just
'cause
make them look stupid kind of.
Oh, you make them look so fucking. You make them look like a mean, dumb piece of shit who's insecure of just being. And that's like the best thing to do.
one time, and this I've done this. It's a great tactic. In college, I was hanging out with like a bunch of dudes that were on the hockey team, and we're like at a party, and I'm with my friend who's friends with like kids on the hockey team. I don't know anyone except for this one guy, and this one kid just keeps like, as we're going around, would like. He wasn't funny, so he was like trying to like get at me, and I'm like, this is great, because like I'm the funniest person in this room. Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna fucking like eviscerate you,
Yeah.
but I'm gonna do it in a way that you're not even gonna know what's happening. And so he'd be like doing it again. I'd be like, you're bullying me, man. And he'd be like, shut up, pussy. I'd be like, you're a rude person. And then like that would get a laugh, and he would
Yeah.
be confused that I was getting a laugh. He'd be like, what? And then he just looked like an idiot.
Oh, yeah,
Like,
and
all
that's
of
so
I could
young,
see his
too.
friends be like, oh, shit, Mark's retarded. Like, this,
Yeah.
How
like,
old
this
were you
is-
again?
that was senior year of college.
College.
Of college. So you were like 20 years
20,
old.
yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. That makes so much. That's such a young man's thing to do. Of just like, you fucking. And like,
I'd be like, dude, you're kind of hurting my feelings right now. And he'd be like, what, fag? And everyone's
yeah, yeah.
like, stop.
Yeah.
Like,
Everyone's getting
hey, you're not
uncomfortable.
now
at
we're
him.
that.
uncomfortable about him,
Yeah.
not you. Yeah.
dude, that's the best thing to do. But it requires like to not have your ego like overcome. Like, because I will get
I have to be
sometimes.
sober. If I was drunk, I'd be like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
No,
you'd,
I'm
like
not.
Hulk out. Like,
I have just like I have to step away from like your own ego and be like, I'm actually not going to engage within my first like instinct, you know, or even like your second one of just like, okay, I'm gonna. It's such a man. How many like thousands of times in your life were you like, man, I wish I said this instead? Like, oh
always.
man, I came
I'm
up with
so
the perfect thing afterwards.
non-confrontational. Like,
Yeah,
I
of course
can't
not.
ever stand up for myself. Like, I'll let someone ruin my life before I like say anything. Before I'm like, can you not punch me in the face?
Yeah, I'm like I'm actually like I can't breathe.
Yeah, I'm like, that's okay that you like.
But it's chill if that's like a burn.
Yeah, like I've had roommates who just completely walk all over me. I'm like building their furniture, and I'm like, how the fuck did I get here?
Like, making you do their
What am I
laundry.
doing?
You're
Yeah.
throwing dirty
I'm
underwear
like,
at you.
wait, how did I become this person's like personal assistant? I just like say yes to everything, and then I get in these situations, and I'm like, I need to like stand up for myself.
You still do that?
Yeah. Like
You- and
I
you
want to
don't
say
wanna
a
do
little
that.
less. I try to like say how I'm feeling, but in like one-on-one interpersonal relationships, I'm fine, but like with people I don't know as well, I'm just like, yeah, I'll drop your packages off at the UPS store. Like I legit did that, and I was like,
To a stranger?
wait, what am I doing? No, like this girl I lived with who I didn't know very well would like have me bring her packages to UPS because it was on my way to work, and now that I'm thinking about it, that is so psychotic.
Or
but,
even that's like kind of crazy.
It's crazy.
Well, it's just like I don't know. I would never want to like rely. I don't know. I feel like I don't
it's also
ask
like
for
on
big
your
favors.
end, grow up. Like,
well, yeah.
how about-
I don't like asking for big favors.
No, I don't either.
Because I personally feel uncomfortable doing
you
that.
should be able to handle everything in your life. You shouldn't need.
Or if you need a favor, like I don't know, like a close friend, if you're like, hey, like I really need this, like, and it's like it's very difficult for me to even ask for things that I need.
I think it should be a little bit like, hey, I know I'm burdening you with this, but can you do me a favor? I don't mind my friends asking me for favors, but like sometimes I can be a little like non-confrontational. So to your point, yeah, there are times where I'm like, oh, why didn't I say that? I should have said this.
There's so many times I mean, that's like just life. That's like fucking like that happens all the time. But it's like, dude, women just in general, like that non-confrontational shit, like I'm like that too so much. And people are very surprised. You're like, well, you seem like a ball buster. And it's like, you know, you're a comedian too. So people are like, well, you're like on stage being confrontational, really, when you think about like that kind of art form. And
it's different from being like,
you're not passive. You're not a passive person at
Sometimes
all.
you shouldn't be confrontational too. Like, especially there's times where like, say that thing's happening again with like, you're in a social group with a bunch of dudes and one guy's doing that to you. I'm like, I can read if this guy's gonna fuck. If I say anything, he's gonna
sucker punch.
This guy's waiting to hit someone, and it's gonna be me.
Yeah,
because I also have the most punchable fucking face.
It's gonna be the first person to piss him off.
This is why you're wise, and you even know that. I know if I saw me at a party, I go, I could fuck that kid up. You like know how you like resonate. Interestingly enough, which is like that requires like.
Or like how you're perceived.
Yeah.
I feel like I have
like
no idea how I'm like perceived.
Dude, I don't either.
I have no fucking idea how people see me.
Well, it's fucking. I totally feel that way, and like, which is bizarre because I feel like I have like a very strong personality.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I should probably know. Like, it's like having a gun and being like, I don't have any gun safety training. Hope this works. And it's just like I have no idea how I can tell when somebody doesn't like me, but I don't know if I come across as like, I assume that I come across as obnoxious and kind of loud and like funny, but like I could definitely understand somebody thinking I'm annoying. Like I'm like, oh yeah, I talk too much.
I don't know. You being
annoying.
like, if I saw myself, I would punch myself in the face is like honestly pretty wise. And I think
it is wise.
It's also, I've realized that just from like posting videos online. So like now people will come up to me and like recognize me from like a video or something, want to talk to me, and the way they fucking start the conversations, I'm like, you think I'm this whole other thing? Because they're like, yo, what's up, dude? Like, fucking want fucking come? I'm like,
you're
that's
so
not
chill.
me.
Yeah.
Me.
That's what's so
that's
weird.
so
I just
interesting.
like, I don't want to do that.
See,
no.
I think people,
you're like,
I don't want to do blow with you and your friends in your fucking Camry.
In your basement.
Your Camry.
I will come, but I don't want to.
Yeah, I feel
I'll
like
be there.
I'm perceived as like, I don't know. I feel like I this is also, I think I'm wrong, and I think my perceptions of myself are like, they're like outdated. Like it's like maybe the way I was perceived when I was like 22 and now I'm 32.
Yeah,
and
it's like always changing.
Yeah, because I'm like, oh, I bet people probably think I'm like an elitist cunt. And I'm like, because I feel like I am a little bit sometimes. Or like, oh, people probably think I'm a bitch or I'm like mean. And I'm like, I'm so not. Like, I'm like really. Because when you first met me, you said I was intimidating. But then you were like, but then you like, the first time I met you, you gave me like a big hug and you were so nice. And I was like, oh.
You're like, I'm nice?
Yeah, I was like, sick.
It was before I like met you in person. I saw you do stand up, and I was like, "Oh, you're really talented." So I was like, "And you're like older comedian." So I was like,
"I'm not that much old. Don't act like I'm like
you're like
young. Yeah,
you know, you're like an old grandfather clock."
No,
in a good way.
Established in a scene that I was not in.
Yeah.
So I was like,
and that's intimidating. Like that is.
But then you were like, "What's up?" And you hugged me. You're like, "You guys want? There's a fucking tab." And I was like, "Sick. This girl's awesome."
That's awesome.
I think I try to like subverting expectations is like super important because like I've told you this before. I feel like I have the weight of the world on me sometimes where like I never want to be like really mean to a guy because I'm afraid he's gonna like shoot up a school. So I'm just like,
I know it's like they're so fragile.
Sensitive.
It's gonna take one thing.
Yeah, like
and then they will.
What's the final straw?
I don't want to be the final straw.
Yeah, that breaks this guy into like a fucking like jihadi counter-terrorist.
Yeah.
Like I'm like when is this?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this guy who like grew up in fucking like Riverside.
Guys
is
are like,
gonna,
women are so sensitive. They're always on the verge of like crying. It's like, you're always on the verge of fucking murder.
But we have at least a catharsis. Like women cry. It's like, because we like, it's more acceptable socially, but it's like, we actually like get it out. And guys, like, it's not socially acceptable.
I have to cry all the time. I feel
cry every day.
I feel like it's like, you know how guys, like you have to come, otherwise it's like not healthy. I feel like that's me with crying. I have to do it, or else it like builds up and it's like not good. You know?
My friend Ian Fidance has a joke about that where he's like, crying is coming for your soul.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, and it's true. It's like
it really is.
Yeah,
like with a little wood thing.
Yeah,
oh
my god. Yeah, you buy it at like
Live, Laugh, Lobotomy.
I love those things because they're always sold at like a Walmart. It's always like
Home
life's
Goods.
the beach, and then you're like, what's crazy about this is that like a child slave in Bangladesh definitely made this, and like they're just like with their like
whittling it,
their 4 fingers because one of them get caught off in a fucking machine. They're like, well, I wonder once I get out of this prison camp,
and it's like
I'm going to be able to read this and I'll see what all these things I've been making. And it just says...
There's a sign in the dining room that says, come for this tea, stay for the conversation. And it's just shaking because of the domestic violence that's happening upstairs on the
it's
wall.
like, bless this mess.
It's always on some like driftwood that's like
it's always on
painted
wood.
white.
It's like, sometimes it's like whittled into it.
With the most hideous font. It's like
terrible.
all curly, like the curliest font. Like, what is this? What kind of fucking wizard did this? Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Can you what do you got coming up? Can you plug some stuff?
I don't have anything coming up immediately, but follow me. Where do I look to address America? Follow me on Instagram at Luisa Lange. My TikTok is Luisa Lange is a joke. Follow me. All my updates are there.
Great. Thank you so much for joining us.
Of course.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks for coming on.
All right. Bye, guys.
Later.
Oh.